warm welcome to everyone watching this. Today, Agitya and I are joined by Mr. Yash, an entrepreneur and alumni of Christ University, Bangalore. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. For starting, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure. So I graduated Christ University in 2015, and immediately after graduating, I followed my passion to get into marketing, and I found my footing in this company called 22 Feet Tribal Worldwide, and I began my career as a digital marketer. Uh, and it was a good course. About 4 years I spent working in that organization, and I learned a lot. I had to unlearn everything I learned in university and really relearn everything newly. It was a great experience for me. And over the course of the 4 years, I managed to take up and lead the team, handling close to about 40% of the business over there. And then I switched my companies from there, moved to this marketing consultancy called Spring Marketing Capital, where I worked very closely with different kind of startups. And that was a great experience too, working with some really, really smart people. Gave a good perspective of how work can be done. And last year in February, I quit my job and I chose to dive into entrepreneurship. And I took over the family business, which is a silks and saris business, which I have. And I have my own brand, which I launched online, which is called Nari. And right now I'm working on building a marketing consultancy, which I can call my own. So I'm into various different fields, whereas my passion takes me to marketing, but business takes me to fashion.
Yeah. What inspired you to establish businesses in different fields? Like you have a textile store, and then you also have like a marketing firm and stuff like that. So, what made you think of that idea?
It's a little. I think it's a two-part answer. I think the first part is that because I'm passionate about marketing, I did not want to let things go. I have always been passionate about marketing, advertising, and technology. So when I did quit my job and it brought me back to a retail business, it really felt like I'm not doing enough with my time, because retail can be a lot of waiting as well as a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun while doing business and making sales happen, but it's a waiting game also. And that itch to get back into marketing always brought me back to wanting to start something in this domain. And the second part of your answer, the answer to your question is that it's very important these days to have multiple sources of passive income. It's not. It's. I think the days are gone when you can be a single business owner and do it successfully. I think it's very important to create as many passive income sources and channels as you can, and let it really help you grow as well as you invest time in it to grow as well. So with these two ideologies is why I really venture into different domains.
So currently you have around like two businesses. So how did you raise funding for those two business ventures?
I believe in bootstrapping everything. I don't believe in letting go of my equity very easily. So equity is something that it comes with great difficulty. So the more you liquidate and raising funds, you are actually slipping control of your company. So wherever possible, I try to be as frugal as I can. I don't spend in excess, nor do I try to crack these one-time life-changing deals. It's a game of patience. You have to really commit yourself to be able to grow your business as well as reinvest in your business in the right time. So that's what I try to do.
So what would you describe like your competitive advantage? So what makes you stand out from every other business in your industry?
In the silks and saris business, it's purely a game of having the right network. I think there's this new saying that's going around these days, which is my network is my net worth, right? So it is true. In many senses, it is true, right? Having the right kind of suppliers is one big USP I have. The kind of products I bring into the market, I can confidently say that not many people in the South Indian market have that. So that's been a very big reason for me to build a loyal base of customers. And at the same time, in the marketing front, the knowledge I've secured in working with some really bright minds, it helps me pitch myself in a very more stronger and more confident ways. So I'm able to build the trust. So I would say trust and net worth are the two things that help in the service and product field.
So,
That's great.
as an entrepreneur, what were your biggest challenges and what sacrifices did you have to make to overcome those?
Ah,
Your
well,
biggest challenges.
I would say the biggest challenge can be complacency. When you're getting too comfortable doing what you're doing, it kinds of puts you in a place where um, you choose to let just there's a saying, right? You let things flow,
Yeah.
right? In business, you really can't let things flow. You have to have a very very strict control over it. You don't have to be really hell bent on taking control and doing things your way, but you need to have a clear check in place. So complacency was a challenge for me, especially with the pandemic coming in. Life changed, overnight. So trying to beat complacency and actually keeping yourself self-motivated is a massive challenge. Any businessman or any entrepreneur, any startup can have, right? And what was the second question? Sorry, second part.
What sacrifices did you have to make to overcome the obstacles?
The sacrifices I had to make was purely giving myself time, reducing my time on doing things that I liked to do when I was younger, going out with my friends, just, you know, you guys know it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Doing all the things that you do in the university life. I think those weren't sacrifices either. I wouldn't say I sacrificed too much. I would say that I just changed the way I think. So now I have um, a method to the madness. So I don't go around overspending or enjoying my life beyond what I should enjoy. So I have a control and limit beyond that. And I wouldn't say I've sacrificed anything, to be frank with you, but it's been a change in my routine more than anything else.
So speaking of the pandemic, you mentioned you left your company a year ago, which is right when the pandemic hit. So what would you say how did it affect your business?
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah? It was terrible. The marketing side, it was great because new ventures came in and I was working in a job back then. So I personally didn't really feel the brunt of it because the company was doing great. The clients we lost, we got back new clients because they are now more digitally friendly. So on the marketing side, I realized there's always going to be business because marketers in the world are actually not in many. I would say experts and people who have talent are not many, right? At the same time, in the family business, because the pandemic hit, the stores were practically shut. There was no demand in the market, so supply didn't matter. So even when we had to go back and purchase materials, the people who were creating the saris and creating the garments I sell, they were affected terribly as well. So prices shot up. So all in all, it was a very very difficult year between 2020 and 2021 up to maybe March. But even then, we decided to hold our horses, not really do things impulsively. That really helped. So patience played a big role in trying to not take the impact too adversely.
So, where do you see the future of your companies, like both the marketing firm and the sales sari business?
Um, well, I feel that silks and saris is something that's really evolving in the market. Uh, and there's a saying, right? Roti, kapda, makan. These are three things which will never go out of style or business, right? So when you look at garments like saris, it's something that every woman in India wants to wear, wants to own. And these are different kind of people. These are not the kind of people who live in metro cities and flamboyantly wear Western garments, but these are people who genuinely like wearing saris on a daily basis. And the market in the tier 2 and tier 3 markets of India are progressively evolving. They are becoming more brand averse. They are becoming a lot more inclined towards having good taste, and quality for products is increasing because they are also realizing that they have been getting products which are not genuine, right? So as that education happens in these two markets, there will be a massive need for reputed and credible brands to come into place. So that's my direction. My direction is not to really expand in cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and the Golden Quadrangle, right? But to go into the tier 2 and tier 3 markets with my silk business.
Okay.
Marketing, on the other hand, is going to be an evergreen business, I feel. There's always going to be demand. And thanks to the pandemic, there's been a massive upskilling of talent. So people have really spent time in educating themselves over courses online. So I feel that business is not going to be something that's going to be difficult to scale. So I see that business going online as a SaaS model, and that's what I'm building towards. I'm trying to make it a SaaS-based model where we can go and work with startups not only in India but even in the Western markets.
So, as an entrepreneur, one of your main responsibilities is serving society. So, how would you say that your business has served society?
I think it starts with the people you employ, right? Their livelihoods are literally in your hands as an entrepreneur because you are paying their bills and you're responsible for them to really step up in their life. So I'm proud to say that even though the pandemic happened, I did not let go of any of my employees. We made sure that their bills were paid on time, and we made sure that come what may, that they got all the support they needed from us. And I have people who have employed from karigars and weavers who have moved to Bangalore on my calling from Kolkata and eastern parts of India to people who live in Bangalore, and their lives have been difficult. So I think it begins with that for me, and that's what I like to believe. Apart from that, I would not say I've impacted society on a macro level, but that's my little ecosystem.
So, if you had any failures, what were those failures and how did you overcome?
I think I lost a lot of time last year, again, because of complacency. I did not really, I think finding self-motivation was the biggest failure I had. It got to a point where it became very comfortable for me to sit at home and not really put my head down and take the problem head on, right? So I let the problem really boil up and become bigger and bigger. And I thought, and I blamed people. I think that's the most human thing you can do is when you are not really having a good time in your life, you end up finding people you want to blame, right? So that complacency and this attitude of not taking the problem head on, it really became a failure of my personal time. So I've lost a year now, which I can't gain back. So that's been the only failure I've had.
So, is there any entrepreneur that you look up to or that inspires?
Yeah, it would be Elon Musk. I think his way of thinking and his way of really getting his hands dirty into the problem is really inspiring.
So,
So we have one.
Yeah.
No, I'll take one.
No, you ask.
Okay. So I want to ask you, what would you tell our viewers who have this entrepreneurial idea, but then they're struggling to put it into action?
Just go and get it done. Don't worry about anything. Just start. I think starting is so difficult for people because you always end up thinking of the bigger picture of where you want to be. And that's great. Having a vision is something that every entrepreneur needs. But after you put down a vision in place, make it sound really sexy, right? Don't tell me that you want to go and start a multi-million-dollar business because that's not sexy, right? You want a very, very clear outcome beyond what you're doing and make it something you can measure. Make that your vision statement, and then start with just small goals, right? One thing that you can do on a daily basis, get it done, check it off your list, and that moment of happiness itself will start giving you the motivation you need to kind of keep going forward. So that's what I mean by get it done. Don't wait for anyone to help you. Don't wait for anyone to push you. You have to do it yourself.
Okay, so last question from my side. So recently there's Shark Tank India, which is airing. So if you had a chance, would you go on that?
Oh yeah, definitely. In fact, me and my partner were discussing the same thing, that we should go after Shark Tank clients first and then finally find our way to get there.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
So thank you so much for joining us. It was great getting to know you. And thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me over here. It's been a pleasure talking to you both.
Thank you.
Sure. Same. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.